Hello there, I trust you're doing well and the festive season is coming along well for you. You're right on time for the KUTV Primetime News on this 26th day of December 2022. Here in studio, it has been business as usual. Our team has been up and about compiling every beat that has been taking center stage in the country, across our neighboring borders and beyond. We are here to bring you up to speed with just that. My name is ODIDA. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm in the company of Evans Odhiambo, our sign language interpreter tonight. Let's get right into it. Now, following a tragic Christmas incident at the famous Pirates Beach in Mombasa County that left 2 dead and 1 other the intensive care unit, the government, through Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria, has issued a directive that there be a close to all beach activities past 5:30 p.m. as a measure to curb beach and ocean accidents. Vuria instructed relevant authorities to enforce the directive both at the Indian Ocean and Lake Victoria to tame accident cases. While announcing the crackdown on unworthy vessels, the former Kilifi governor insisted that the ministry was aware of some operators overloading their boats due to the high number of holiday makers. Mburia was speaking earlier today at Congo Beach in Diani. At least 2 people were shot and killed by gunmen believed to be Al-Shabaab militants in the Pandagu area, Lamu County. Police who responded to the Christmas Day incident said several houses in the area were also torched by the attackers. The area is near Boni Forest, which is an operation zone, as the national government has since 2015 conducted a multi-agency security exercise dubbed Linda Boni, which aimed at flashing out Al-Shabaab militants believed to be hiding there. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata said assailants attacked the village at night but were repulsed by Kenya Police Reservists after a heavy gunfight. Elungata urged locals to cooperate with security officers on the ground to restore calm. Now, traditionally, Boxing Day is a day marked globally and is set aside for enjoying and coming together with family and friends as people unbox, quite literally, their Christmas gifts. In Kisii town, an evangelical church chose to mark the NDA festivities and commemorate Boxing Day with vulnerable widows and widowers who are hit hard by the current economic hardships.
The Pentecostal Evangelical Fellowship of Africa Church, through its founder Osborne Moseti, today donated foodstuffs and detergent to the needy recovering from the COVID-19 effects.
Hii project imenisaidia sana kwa sababu sikuwa na chakula ukweli. Mpaka nilikuwa nasema Mungu utaniona kweli, lakini hii kitu imetusaidia kwa sababu hatukukuwa hata na pesa.
Thanking the church for the donation, Caleb Odhiambo, a beneficiary, said beside the help they had formed a merry-go-round outfit to complement the donations.
Saa hii ugonjwa umerudi chini, ndio tumeshukuru sana vile Bosco alifanyia sisi hii, na ahadi pia ni deni, nasema naweza saidia sisi pesa nyingine kidogo.
According to Rebecca Moseti, who was representing the donor, she disclosed that for the last 6 years, the church's founder have been assisting the vulnerable to cater for their family needs.
Kupitia kwa hiki kikundi cha Purity International Ministries kimetuweka pamoja, at least kimetusaidia.
Elsewhere, a group of friends in Kisumu have come to the rescue of neglected street children by offering them foods and drinks to celebrate Christmas and the New Year. The families have, however, requested other donors to come together and help them in these difficult times. Kenya is suffering from the poor economic status, with many pleading with the government to lower the prices of food for them to be able to afford. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Local tourist destinations have roared back to life this festive season as Kenyan families throng homegrown tourist destinations. In Embu County, residents enjoyed the sights at Camp Nduda, located inside Jukiri Forest, in their first Christmas post-COVID era. Revelers have, however, decried high cost of living, with business owners being forced to slash prices in order to attract tourists.
When the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in the country in March 2020, the government responded instantly with lockdowns greatly affecting tourism sector as the economy took a nosedive. This year's Christmas was the first one without movement restrictions, and Kenyans were definitely enjoying their outdoor activities, a majority choosing to visit local tourist sites. Camp Nduda Falls in Embu County is one such site that offered family-friendly activities to visitors, providing a nice environment for parents to bond with their children. Some visitors, like Francis Karimi, marveled at the beauty of Kenya's local sites, saying they need to be publicized more to make Kenyans aware of their existence.
A very nice camp, and I've never been here, and I've been coming to Embu all the time. I'm surprised even some of the locals do not know where it is.
Tumekuja Kabududa kusherehekea kidogo kidogo sherehe za Christmas hapa na pale, kuleta watoto wajivijari kidogo kidogo tu tumesherehekea.
Gladys says that fun moments in Kenya now require financial planning and sacrifices as high cost of living bites and the purse grows leaner. In fact, business owners and managers like Cosmas Kiamba had to slash their prices to record a surge in local tourist numbers.
At least tunajaribu kupull watu and pia tunawapea a standard rate yenye kila mtu atakuwa comfortable na hata feel amefinyiliwa.
The challenges notwithstanding, those in attendance here had to grab the opportunity and make merry.
Watu naona wako na furaha tele, watoto wanajivijali pande hii kwingine, wamama wanakunywa masoda kwingine.
The government is now being urged to consider promoting local tourism vigorously as many Kenyans remain ignorant of the beauty lying within our borders. Dennis Omondi, KUTV.
Thank you, Dennis, for that report. Still in the same spirit, inmates in Meru Men's Prison, Meru County, celebrated their Christmas behind bars in a special way. The Abogete West member of County Assembly and his staff donated foodstuffs, drinks, and personal effects for the inmates during the festive season. Take a look.
These people have no other family, we are their family, so it's a grateful day.
Kidogo na tunatarajia pia kuna wahisani pale nje ambao wamejaliwa na Mwenyezi Mungu kuwa na mali yao. Wanaweza nunua vitu kama zile toiletries, vitu ambazo zinahitajika na watu kukaa maisha na kuwa na afya njema, wawaletea hapa kwa prison.
Now, away from that, the 11-member Senate committee formed to look into the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza will begin its sittings tomorrow, Tuesday, 27th, in the Senate chambers. During the first sittings, the parties involved will formulate rules and procedures for the impeachment proceedings and also iron out any other issues. 67 out of 69 Meru members of County Assembly impeached the governor on several grounds, including disregard for the Constitution. Governor Mwangaza, on the other hand, has presented counter-accusations, including that of the MCAs operating a cartel ring in the county. 33 senators last Tuesday voted in favor of the Boni Halwali-led committee instead of a plenary hearing.
Documents the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising the following senators. 1. Senator Dr. Boni Kalwale, CBS MP. Senator Jackson Mandago, EGH MP. Senator Karungo Thangwa, MP. Senator Esther Okenyuri, MP. Senator Roba Ali Ibrahim, EGH MP. Senator Peris Tobiko, MP. Senator Eddie Gisheru Okech, MP, Senator Joseph Githuku Kamau, MP, Senator Edwin Sifuna, MP, Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, MP, and Senator Jones Mwaruma, MP. The committee will have 10 days to investigate and report back to the Senate on whether it finds the allegations against the governor to have been substantiated. The committee should therefore table its report in the Senate on or before Friday, 30th December 2022.
Now on to the education sector. The Migori Branch Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPPET Executive Secretary Orwe Jasolo has urged the Teachers Service Commission to initiate promotion of teachers on equal basis across the existing job groups. The Executive Secretary noted that teachers in grade C3 to C5, who form 80% of post-primary school classroom teachers, were not allocated any meaningful share in the recent promotions advertised by the TSC. He urged the government to pay teachers according to the CBA matrix signed between the union and TSC in 2017 to allow teachers across the ranks to fully benefit. Elsewhere, students who sat for the 8th grade and 4th form examinations have been advised to organize themselves in order to continue their studies. Abogeta East MCA Harun Thuraniram say that the leaders will give scholarships to students who will be burdened with school fees, while Reverend Ben of the New Life Nkubu Church, on the other hand, called on parents to reduce spending this Christmas season to enable a smooth transition for them when students get back to school in January.
Wanafunzi wote wachukue hii nafasi, hata yule amepata marks iliyo chini ama iliyo juu, wote wajiandikize kwa kila shule, kwa sababu kama hii Abogeta East tuko na shule mingi sana za upili.
Usitumie zaidi ya vile bajeti yako ilivyo ili uweze kufurahisha watu. Kuna kesho, kuna shule inakungojea, kuna mahitaji na majukumu mengi yaliyo mbele yako. Ningependa kukutakia ni kuambia kwamba jipange vizuri, kula kidogo, panga maisha yako, pakisha kile utabakisha, watoto kesho na kuhitaji waende shule.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has called on the diversification, of the annual Vihiga Cultural Festival to accommodate the changing times within the society. Speaking when he graced the 43rd Vihiga Cultural Festival as the patron in Mbale, Vihiga County, Mudavadi said it is high time that the organizers of the event reflect on the current challenges and needs in the society and adapt a model that suits the changing times when they organize for next year's event.
Hatuwezi kuendelea na kusema ni culture, lakini wakati wazee wanasimama pale, nimeona ni wazee peke yao na sijaona wewe ukipeana baton kwa nani. Umepeana hiyo kijiti kwa nani? Tunataka culture ianze, hawa vijana nao waanze kuendesha, kwa sababu you must hand over to them.
Now imagine in Nairobi without traffic congestion. We are coming back with that story after this break.
Wakenya wengi wanataka kubadilisha afya ya Wakenya kuwa bora. Wengine wanafikiria ni kwa kufanya harambee ili kusaidia wale ambao hawawezi kumudu pesa nyingi za matibabu. Ingawaje hili husaidia, cha muhimu zaidi ambacho unaweza kufanya ni kuhimiza kila mtu kujisajili kwa UHC Super Cover. Ni shilingi 500 pekee kila mwezi. Kwa kufanya hivyo, unasaidia Wakenya kufikia bima ya afya wanayoweza kumudu, ili wale wasioweza kumudu mahitaji ya matibabu ya afya wanaweza kupata bima ya afya wakati wowote ule wanapokuwa na hitaji. Iwapo Wakenya wengi watalipa UHC Super Cover, basi Wakenya tutazidi kuwa wenye afya njema. Haya ndiyo mabadiliko tunayotaka. Je, jukumu lako ni lipi? Ni rahisi. Lipia NHIF yako kila mwezi ya shilingi 500 pekee ili kujali afya yako, ya familia na jamii. Iwapo hujajisajili kama memba wa NHIF, tembelea kituo cha NHIF au Huduma Center yote nchini. Bonyeza *155# kujisajili au download My NHIF app kwa Google Play na Apple Store kujisajili. UHC Super Cover. Sasa sote tuko sawa.
UHC Super Cover NHIF.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
When a box or against the wall, and it looks as if it was over, Lord, you made a way. Oh, 'cause as I'm standing here, it's only because you made a way.
Welcome back. Now, taking to the air could be one solution to help get around traffic jamming city highways. Take a look at this report from Los Angeles on plans to get air taxis flying for the city's 2028 Summer Olympics.
This drive across the desert is a test ride for a full-scale version of a propulsion system that the Southern California company Overair plans to use in electric flying taxis. Company engineers are working on eVTOL, that's electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, with 6-meter rotors and the latest developments in electric motors and batteries to help lift passengers above crowded roadways.
This aircraft, with its range of 100 nautical miles, or a little over 115, 120 miles, basically can serve the greater LA area. Our aircraft has room for luggage as well as 5 passengers. We think it'll be great for families trying to get to a long-haul flight, and it will really change how people make decisions about how they get around in an urban area.
City officials say the early promise of urban air mobility brings with it many questions, including the infrastructure for flying taxis and oversight by the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA.
I think obviously the FAA is going to have a huge role to play, and they are the ones that are actually thinking about and considering possibly providing some sort of permits for this process as early as 2025. And then at the local level, we really get into, land use powers around where things can take off and land. And I think the other value add that cities bring, again, is that very hyper-local perspective around how this is going to impact real people.
Some Angelinos are skeptical about flying taxis.
Think of all of those landing spots. That seems like chaos waiting to happen. It's like, so now you need like entire zones where people are taking off and landing from that are allowed. It's like you can't just land anywhere. It's like, it seems like you're just going to crash all the time.
The German company Volocopter was the first to lift a person in the air in 2011 using solely electric power. Today, the firm's Volocity is a 2-seater electric aircraft with 18 rotors.
When we have flown in Singapore, in the city center, I hoped
that a lot of people, there are a lot of tourists, will applaud and look to the volocopter and look at it. They did not. Why? They did not hear it. So it was bad for marketing, but good from the authorities. They loved it. So it's very silent and you will not see it. Even it will be a small dot in the sky.
Volocopter flew its Volocity over Paris in November with plans for short commercial flights by the 2024 Paris Olympics. Los Angeles officials are working to have air taxis operational by the Olympics here in 2028. Genia Dulo for VOA News, Los Angeles.
But it's safe to say that that will come in handy for Nairobi County. Now, the global economy was gripped by an economic crisis in 2022 as the aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic was exacerbated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which sent energy prices soaring. Henry Ridgwell reports from London.
Obeng Kramper imports second-hand furniture to sell in his home city of Accra, but he's struggling to balance the books. Inflation in Ghana has hit 40% this year, and the currency has almost halved in value against the US dollar.
Amount you use to import, let's say, one container, these days you have to double the amount. The same goods, the same quantity, but the amount has been doubled.
Across the world, central banks have imposed sharp rate rises to try to tame inflation driven by soaring energy costs. The US Federal Reserve raised interest rates 6 times in 2022, strengthening the dollar.
People buy goods, they sell goods, but there is a difference in time between them. If during that time the currency changes, the manufacturer or the buyer can lose money. And all this, remember, is also tied to inflation. And not just inflation, but expectations of inflation. So if I'm selling burgers, how much should I price them now? Or should I keep changing the price every day?
The uncertainty has hit the world economy, forecast to grow just 2.2% in 2023, down from over 5% last year.
Rising global interest rates are increasing the cost of borrowing, putting many households, firms, and governments under increased pressure. Russia's war against Ukraine has also worsened the conditions for low-income countries. Many of them are particularly vulnerable to high food and energy prices, and in addition, tighter global financial conditions raise the risk of further debt distress in those countries.
That distress is felt acutely in Sri Lanka, which is suffering its worst financial crisis since independence in 1948. The government defaulted on its debts in May as inflation hit 70%.
We can't afford to buy chicken, fish, or any other meat. We only eat vegetables and leaves. It is difficult for us to even send our children to schools and even provide them proper meals. We are going through a very hard time.
Across the world, workers are demanding better pay as inflation eats into their wages. In Britain, nurses and ambulance workers are set to stage strikes in December.
I've had to cut down on a lot of things with the kids, which I can't afford to provide for them because of the high cost of living.
Inflation is forecast to fall back slightly in 2023, but with the war in Ukraine still raging and energy prices high, the new year will bring little relief for the billions of people struggling to get by. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.
Now, 3 years ago, scientists in Wuhan, China, first reported infections from a novel coronavirus. Since then, the has developed and delivered 13 billion shots against COVID-19. It is an unprecedented achievement, but it has been tarnished by an equal.
February 24th, 2021, a delivery of COVID-19 vaccines arrives in Ghana, striking a blow for vaccine equity.
We're really happy because they're going to benefit a large number of beneficiaries in Ghana.
Ghana is the first country to receive the COVAX vaccines.
The UN-backed COVAX program aimed to help low- and middle-income countries get access to COVID vaccines after rich countries had locked down most of the early supplies. The program struggled to compete for limited doses. After nearly 2 billion shots delivered, COVAX is narrowing its scope to serve the poorest countries. That's in part because 2 years later, there are plenty of shots available. Not everyone is getting them, however, says Duke University Global Health Professor Krishna Udaikumar.
The inequities really are stark and continued. In Africa, only 25% of the population of the entire continent is fully vaccinated, compared with more than 75% in places like South America.
Supply is not the biggest problem anymore. Demand is. People in lower-income countries are not lining up for COVID shots, says Center for Global Development health expert Janine Madan-Keller.
This lack of demand is really a concerning trend we're seeing. The reasons behind low demand, I'd say, are quite complex and multifaceted.
Misinformation about the vaccines is rampant. Trust in governments providing the shots is low, and many people in lower-income countries don't see COVID as much of a threat. Plus, the vaccines took too long to arrive, Udaikumar says.
While there was demand, it was unmet. So it's reasonable now that we're seeing more hesitancy because we missed the time when everybody was ready to accept and take vaccines.
Much of the delay was because vaccine manufacturing is concentrated in a few, mostly wealthier nations. Poorer nations were left hoping for handouts, says Brown University Pandemic Center Director Jennifer Nuzzo.
I think we have to figure out how to make these vaccines in a much more distributed way than we did before, so we aren't just relying on donations. It's clear donations do not work because when faced with a crisis, countries will always choose to prioritize their own populations.
Efforts are underway to build more vaccine factories in Africa, but building them is just the start. How to keep them in business in the long run is another question, Keller says.
Who's going to buy these vaccines, or what vaccines make sense both from an economic but also from a health perspective for these manufacturers to produce? Where will the money to pay for them come from?
The African Union faces these questions as it aims to manufacture 60% of its routine vaccines on the continent by 2040. The challenge is to build a sustainable vaccine industry that can handle both regular vaccines and the inevitable next pandemic. Steve Baragona, VOA News.
All right, that brings a close to our international stories. We are taking our second short break. You're coming back with sports. Keep it KUTV.
Sasa sote tuko sawa, nchi moja yenye usawa, tunasonga mbele pamoja. Nobody's left behind. One love, one people, sustainable health for everyone. NHIF inafaidi jamii, strong as one. Strong as one. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo. Afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. Usawa ni umoja. Usawa ni upendo. Afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover na NHIF.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence. Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Karan Patel and his navigator Tausif Khan won the 2022 Kenya National Rally Drivers Champion and the 2022 National Navigator Championship respectively after clinching Kenya National Rally Championship and Division 1 title this year. In other categories, Kush Patel and his navigator Mudaso Shodri won the Division 2 titles, while Leo Varis and his co-driver Kigo Kariethi clinched the Division 3 titles. Former Kenya national champion Baldev Charger bagged the Classic Car Cup title. The title for navigator class was won by Gareth Doe. English Premier League side Wolves has signed Atletico Madrid striker Matheus Cunha on loan. The 23-year-old Brazilian moved to Spain from Hertha Berlin in Germany in 2021 for a fee of 26 million euros, but struggled to make any significant impact with the Madrid-based side. Matheus will become Julen Lopetegui's first signing as Wolves head coach, joining on loan from 1st January. And finally, Tottenham came from two goals down to salvage a point at Brentford on Premier League return after World Cup. Vitaly Janett and Ivan Toney had put Brentford in full control, but Antonio Conte's man claimed a remarkable draw thanks to goals from Harry Kane and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to mark it 2-2 at full time at GT Community Stadium. Tottenham now sits fourth on the Premier League table with 30 points, 7 points shy of league leaders Arsenal. Now, with that, we have come to the end of our bulletin this Monday. We hope to see you here again tomorrow, same time, same place. Many thanks indeed for making time for us tonight, despite making merry with your family. We wish you happy holidays. My name is Anne ODIDA. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Evans Odhiambo. Have yourself a good night.
My name is Jeff Ayako HSC, then the recent winner of the top 40 under 40. Jeff is an innovator, and Jeff is also the CEO and founder of Mapcard Limited, where we design and develop the most affordable egg incubators within the market.
We realized that we get to have a lot of students trying to cut the other students that were initially in the line, and now you get to see there is a disorder